Welcome to Home Culture. I'm Anna, and this channel is all about making a house a home. It's the DIYs, the decor, the projects, all the energy you put into your home to make it your own. Ralph and I built this house about 3 years ago, and this is our journey towards making this space our very own. This video is all about fall decor. I love fall. Apple picking, cozy sweaters, even pumpkin spice. I love it all. But I like my decor still to be neutral, even in the fall. So I went to the garden and I dried some flowers. I have some more neutral DIY pumpkin ideas, just different things that definitely are fall, but are still neutral and match my decor. So let's get started. To kick off my fall decor, I'm going to be making a hula hoop wreath. I have some burlap, florals, greenery, and a garland of leaves. I picked these all up from the dollar store and have a cute idea in my head, so let's see if it works out. I'm going to be using this larger burlap to cover the top portion, and then the florals and this leaf garland to do the bottom portion. So let's cut out some burlap. I'm going to measure about 3 or 4 times the length of the actual portion that I want covered. Using needle and thread, I'm going to hand sew this together. I was worried this bright orange would show through the burlap, but once I bunch it up, I like how it looks. So I'm ready to now put the florals down at the bottom. Leaves are on. Now for some greenery. Florals are all on, and if I hang it right here, you can see there's a perfect spot for a bow. Now, my favorite bow happens to be also like one of the most simplest bows to make. Take your fabric and you're gonna wrap it 3 times. Like you're gonna make like 3 loops. And staple it in the middle. So I got my staple right there. And now take them and just separate them. You can separate them like this. And then it's nice to do them opposite. So you do the opposite, opposite, opposite. There we go. So this is the start of the bow. Now take one more piece of fabric, enough that you can wrap it around and tie it. Make a knot, bring it around, and tie it again. And then play around with it to make it a nice, floofy bow. Here's my bow. And now to attach it to the wreath. I've left enough overhang in the back to be able to tie it to the wreath. This is the finished product. I'm also going to make a smaller wreath for my mother-in-law using similar materials. The hook's right here. I'm going to have the florals coming down on one side. So let's attach them. I'm going to start by sliding them underneath this wire that binds the twigs together. You can use zip ties, and I also might be using some of the floral wire just to secure it a bit better. Happy with my stems. Now I'm going to make that super easy bow. Well, first I'm going to clean up this mess.
I have some thinner burlap, and I'm going to wrap it around 3 times. Staple in the middle. Pull it apart. Now take another piece of the same material, or I guess you could use contrasting material too. And tie a knot right in the middle of it. Now don't make the knot too tight because then it won't look cute on your bow. So now I'm going to attach that right here. This is where I'm going to use the floral wire. And that's it. It's ready to go in the door.
I want to make fall bowl filler with these oranges by drying them in the oven. My first step is to cut them into 1 centimeter slices. So once you have your orange slices, you place them on a baking sheet with a rack on it. I also put parchment paper in case I get some of the juice drippings. I don't want to scrub the baking sheet. So here, let's lay them out. The slices are ready to go into the oven at 200 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 to 4 hours, and you flip them 3 or 4 times. The longer they're in the oven, the darker they'll become, but you do have to check on them. Once the baking's done, then you take them out and you let them dry overnight. So I'm ready to get that going. While the oranges are in the oven doing their thing, I want to make a fall candle. I just got this container and I want to make a natural, clean burning candle. So I'm going to be using soy flakes, and I picked up this fall scented essential oil. The first thing I need to do is fill my container 1.5 times with the soy flakes and start melting them. I've put the wax pot into simmering water, and I'm waiting for the wax to melt and the temperature to get to 82 degrees Celsius. As the wax melts down, I'm going to be adding the other half portion that I measured. While the wax is melting, I'm going to prep my container. So it's been washed and cleaned, and I need to add wicks. I'm going to be doing 3 wicks. These are pretty thin wicks, so I do need 3 to be able to burn the whole candle, and 3 just looks really cool. So I apply these stickers right to the bottom, and I'm going to try to get them as evenly distributed as possible. The wicks are in place now. The wax is at about 80 degrees Celsius now, which is the perfect time to add our scent. Once you add the scent, you stir for 2 minutes. Oh, and you turn off the heat. The wax is melted and I've added the scent, but we're not ready to pour yet. If you were to pour right away, you get like a tunnel in the middle of your candle as it cools, which looks terrible. So you have to let it cool to about 55 degrees Celsius, and then you're ready to pour. So while the wax is cooling, I have an idea of what to do with the lid. I sanded down the lid a little. It was a bit rough and there was a little bit of a sealer on it, and I wanted to take that sheen off, and it's ready to be painted black. The lid is dry, and I want to add a little leather pull detail to the top. So I'm going to cut about 4 inches of this leather strap. And I'm going to try to center it on the lid. I'm going to be using both Little Tacks and E6000. And this time I'm going to pre-make a little hole. I'm going to need to do some touching up with the paint, but this is what it looks like. The wax is at the perfect pouring temperature now. I like to reserve just a little bit of the wax so I can do a top coat just to make it really nice and smooth. Other than that, these are now just gonna sit and cool down. You can't light a soy candle for 14 days. It needs to cure. This makes sure that the candle is safe to burn. Now it just needs to sit here and set. I picked these pumpkins up at the dollar store and they're a cute size. They're just a little too vibrant for my decor, so I'm gonna Mod Podge them with some strips of craft paper. You can use craft paper, wrapping that you got from a fragile item that you picked up at HomeSense, or even paper lunch bags. To start, I'm gonna coat the pumpkin with Mod Podge. The pumpkins have a gold stem, which is cute, but I don't know if it's gonna work with the finished look, so I might cover them with Mod Podge, I might paint them, or I might leave them. I'll see what it looks like when it's done. Now the pumpkin's all covered with Mod Podge, so I'm gonna let it sit and get tacky while I start painting some of my strips. And now to apply the strips. Because they've been sitting there a bit soft, which makes it easier to apply them and mold them. There's my middle strip, and I want it to look like the pumpkin is stripy, so I'm going to be doing strips from the top to the bottom. I don't plan on leaving the pumpkin brown. I'm actually going to be doing a whitewash over it, and I want to try an ombre look. Well, not on each pumpkin, but I'm going to try and whitewash them in white, light gray, and a darker gray. See that I'm getting some stripes here. That looks a little more rustic, a little more fall. Next pumpkin. Last pumpkin. Leaving the pumpkins to get tacky, to dry up a little, is really important. So I'm gonna let this one sit while I do my papers, my strips. There's one that I didn't, like I tried to hurry it and it didn't stick. It just kind of slid around and just got way messier. So I definitely recommend letting it sit while you paint some strips. Now you don't have to let it sit really long, just a couple minutes, just to let it dry up a bit. As it tacks up, you can start pushing it down into the little pumpkin grooves. All right, so that's my last piece on my last pumpkin. And this is what I meant by just pushing it down. It's almost like you're giving your pumpkin a massage. These are the pumpkins. I do like the gold stem and I'm going to be keeping it. You could actually just keep this as the finished product. You give it one more coat of the Mod Podge as sealant, but I want to try giving it the whitewash look, but they need to dry completely first. So I'm gonna let them dry and come back to them. The pumpkins have been drying for several hours now, so I think they're ready to be whitewashed. First, I'm doing white. It's just regular craft paint, and it's about 50-50%, like 50 water, 50 paint. Let's see how this looks. Now I'm gonna do a light gray. This one is the darkest gray. So here are the pumpkins. I'm ready to start decorating. I've rummaged through the house and pulled together things that felt very fallish to me, and also the things that I've DIY'd, and I'm ready to decorate. First off, I'm going to be using the pumpkins. I grew these hydrangeas in my garden, and I just dried them hanging upside down in the garage. And to me, they feel really, I just love hydrangeas, so they'll work for any season for me.
Now this tray is gonna go on the coffee table. Look at how cute the pumpkins turned out.
Now onto making a centerpiece for the island. I thrifted this tray, and on the bottom it says it's for pirates dishes. That's not what we're using it for today. It is a really nice tray, and I think it's a great decor piece. So I have some of my cookbooks, and I'm gonna stack them in here. I picked ones that kind of had like a fall kind of coloring to them. Then I have my orange pieces that we dried out. So I'm gonna put some of those in at the bottom. Now these orange pieces, once they're dry, they're good forever. Just when you're done using them for your fall decor, if you want to use them for Christmas decor, you totally can. Or you just put them in a container and put them away for next year. Over the years, they will darken, which is what I'm really looking forward to, because I do like the darker look better. And here's the candle we made. Yeah, it smells like fall. And these are two. This is a bottle. I believe it was a cold brew coffee bottle. And then this was a sauce bottle that I did the baking soda paint technique on. And now let's put some stems into that. Now these stems I picked out from my garden, and they just dried out. They were black-eyed Susans, and they just dried out, and just they had the little ends on them now. That looks perfect to me. My last decor is going to be for the dinette table, and I have this lantern. And I picked these up at the dollar store. Actually, these are from the Dollar Tree. I'm bunching them up just in case I have the wrong length or I want to reuse them in the future. And then these I picked out from the fields down the street. I got these in the spring of last year. So they've been around for a while. Now I'm just gonna clean all this up because it definitely made a bit of a disaster and style everything and put it all in its new fall home. Pumpkins, cozy blankets, definitely fall. This definitely has fall vibes. Well, that's the end of the video. I hope you've been inspired to get your fall game on. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and you can check us out at Home Culture Canada on Instagram.